How much of your hard-earned money is Justin Trudeau willing to light on fire to push his radical agenda? Turns out, at least 160 million more than I thought yesterday. Welcome to the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, or CFLI, a foreign aid program facilitated through Global Affairs Canada that was started over 50 years ago to provide funding for high-impact projects around the world. However, now, Trudeau and the Liberals have turned it into a taxpayer-funded megaphone for DEI, LGBTQ, and climate change activism. What's perhaps worse, this money is being funneled into countries like China, Iran, Afghanistan, Lebanon, and Venezuela, all countries that don't particularly buy into gender equality, inclusive governance, or climate action. Now, let's get a little more granular. According to the Global Affairs database, the CFLI was used under the Harper government for a single year, funding 106 projects at a total cost of $21.2 million. The stated goal: supporting human rights, democratic development, and poverty reduction. It had no primary policy marker dictating its objectives, no expected results, and also no achieved results. So I would still argue that it was still a misguided slush fund even then, but at least Harper had the sense to curb its spending. Then Trudeau got his hands on it in 2015, and it became a weaponized ideological cash dump. The primary policy marker: gender equality, and it was listed as a significant objective, with explicit mandates to fund LGBTQ initiatives, gender empowerment programs, and climate change interventions in countries that had no interest in these issues. The expected results mirrored the objective. Yet there were still zero results achieved under the Trudeau government. And what that means really is this money was handed over with zero oversight. It was spent on whatever these foreign governments wanted, or it vanished entirely. No checks, no balances. Well, I guess you could argue that there was one blank check signed by Canadian taxpayers. Since Trudeau restarted the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives, it has funded 487 projects, burning through $144.5 million as of March 31st, 2024, our fiscal year end. That being said, based on our programs that are still operational and our history, we can safely assume that this number is now closer to 160 million in 540 projects. So here's a snapshot of where some of your tax dollars have gone under this gender equality, LGBTQ, climate change program. West African nations received 5.35 million, East African nations 8 million, Southeast Africa 2.8 million, Central and North Africa 3.9 million. So Africa as a whole is looking at $20 million. China received 4 million, Lebanon received 1.9 million, Palestine 1.2 million, Iran 500,000, Iraq 750,000, Afghanistan 1.75 million, Syria 950,000, Yemen 470,000, Belarus 700,000, Haiti 1 million, 2.2 million found its way to the Congo, Venezuela received 1.2 million with 900,000 going to Kazakhstan. Now, I want to highlight that I did select which countries to list off, but I did not hide any Western nations from this list. This money is going to countries that do not align with any of these liberal policies, so why are Canadian tax dollars funding climate change projects in China, a country that fires up new coal plants every week? Why are we paying for gender equality initiatives in Afghanistan, where the Taliban won't even let a woman go outside without a male guardian? As for the LGBTQ agenda, take your pick. It's either shunned, rejected, or outright criminalized in every nation on the list. This isn't high-impact funding. This isn't foreign policy. This is delusional ideological insanity. And let's not forget the backdrop here. Canada is now buried under $1.25 trillion in debt, over 50% of which was accumulated under the current administration. Home ownership is a fantasy for entire generations, and the cost of living has skyrocketed beyond the average family's income. And yet the people running the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives see no problem lighting our money on fire to chase utopian fantasies in a faraway land. The CFLI's stated goal is to support Canada's foreign policy priorities, but let's call this what it really is: a taxpayer-funded globalist PR stunt for the Liberal government. Trudeau and his Liberals have made it very clear where their priorities lie, and it's not with Canadians.